It's a little in the way, but that's fine. All right, so I first start with, I start by cutting out one of these, just a wire segment.
Which I have the right one, right?
Yeah, if you got the Fox one, yeah. We'll look at the gauge together, but I mean, it should be, it looks right. It looks right. 22?
22.
22, perfect. Yeah, 22 gauge brass wire is what we use for this. And brass because it's, it's just malleable enough.
Yeah.
And it holds, but you can still, there's some leeway there.
22.
All right. So I start off by grabbing one of these guys. And usually, as you can see, there's there's a partition right there. There's a little cut in the middle. Yeah. So then I grab my ruler. I line it up. And I do one of these. And then I try to make sure that the
You need them perfectly
the butts
lined.
are, yeah. I mean, you can have a little bit of give, yeah, but it's not recommended.
Did you buy them already scored, or you score them?
Yes, I buy them scored.
Oh yeah.
So with yours, are they scored?
No.
No? Okay. We'll show you how to score it. And we have.
Just fold it over the sharp roller.
We'll find something. Because you need a little like round tube to place it in.
We have
like
an easel.
Yeah.
I never use those though. But now I have a machine that scores it. But I learned that you don't, for the machine, you don't wait until the cane drops. That's a new thing I just learned from the manufacturer. He said 2-3 minutes.
Wait till the
throw it on the machine.
Oh really?
Super surprising.
Huh. Interesting. Well, all right.
But not
so.
for Bassoon, right? Bassoons always sink.
Yeah. Oh, I always allow it to sink because it's so much thicker. Yeah, it's so much more. All right. So generally, I place this first wire, 1 inch, or 29.5 centimeters, from the bottom to the top. So I check and make sure that there's 1 inch right there. And now this part right here isn't the most important measurement in the world.
29 centimeters.
Or 1 inch, 29.5.
The bottom.
Yeah.
To the. What do you call that again?
This is the shoulder.
Shoulder.
Yeah. Right. So now this is the important part. So we're gonna see our cane like this, folded as if it were one segment. We're gonna grab the wire. We're gonna place it under, and then we're gonna flip this over the first. Over that one, bring it back, and make sure that it's over as well. See that? Over and over. Over the first little segment of wire, and then over its own little hump there. And then we're going to bring them together, and then it should look like this. One under, one over. And then the back, as you can see, the back is a little wonky. That's fine, because we're going to pull that through. So now I give it a couple twists. Again, this is important. The one that's under goes over. The one that's under goes over. The one that's under goes over. And then I give it a tug. I grab these 2 fingers. I hold there, and I give it just a little tug. And then I fix this little section right here.
So for bread tie. I call it a bread tie.
Yeah. Like challah bread.
For you, do you eyeball those measurements for the wires?
Yeah, I've done so many that for this part right here, like I said, it's not the most important measurement. Does it work? Is it? Yeah. It's not the most important measurement, but it helps with the cane getting a sense of where that wire is going to be at, anyways.
29 from the bottom.
I use inches. I use
1 inch.
Merca. So I use inches with everything because that's how I was taught.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But you're saying centimeters because other schools are gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, other schools will have you do this and that, but every at least the ones in California, we all use inches. So as you can see, now our measurements for where this this lies is between the line between the 2 wires. So I grab from the end, and see I'm a little over 1 inch, as you can see. I'm over 1 inch. Right. But that's not the hardest. That's not the craziest thing. Yeah. So, I mean, there's times where I don't even I don't even put a ruler to it, but
Just the
I'm
shape.
showing you. Yeah, I'm showing you now. That way you get an idea.
I know, that's how I always
And when
tell
we
my
start,
reviewers.
it's best when you start off, it's best to make everything as exact as possible. There we go. That's perfect. That's 1 inch right there from the butt to the first wire, the middle of the first wire. All right. So then now I just finish off the tying. And you want to get it to where it stops, and then for me, I just squeeze that little section up right there to line everything up.
How tight are we pulling when we pull away?
When you pull away, just enough so that you see how there's just very little gap from the wire to the touching of the bark.
Yeah.
See how there's almost no gap?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. What you don't want is to pull so much that you start seeing
An
indentation right there. Because that's, now you're like squeezing the tube, and that's not good either. And that takes a little bit of, you get the right pressure, you're going to feel the toughness of the wire against the bark. But generally this is how I start off, right? So then I just clip the excess.
I didn't bring my pliers.
That's all right. I clip the excess flush with the reed. Every plier is different, but I've found that this plier has, for me, the right cut when I do this. So what you want is a little bit of a nub there.
Because you might have to pull on it at some point.
Just because we're gonna wrap around that. So now this part, I dip it in there for a little bit while I'm getting string. And for string, we're gonna wrap this around the tube. Yeah.
That's the twine he was talking about from the turkey stuff.
And so yeah.
Can I touch it? It's waxed.
Yeah. No, not waxed. Not waxed.
So I have to make sure it's not waxed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure it's not waxed.
If it's waxed, does it fuck up your reed?
Yeah,
Hobby Lobby.
this is the same one that I get. It's 100% cotton.
Okay, so I need to get that.
And it's what, 3-ply?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-ply.
What's it called? Natural cord.
Natural cord.
Natural
Yeah.
cord.
I like this stuff. There used to be some stuff that I used back in the day that doesn't unravel. Like all this cord now, like all the ones that I've bought, it just starts to unravel here. But there was a brand that I used to buy that was so perfect. But
I wonder if hemp wicks any good for it, but it's waxed.
probably. Oh, but
If
if
they
you can
have
find some
unwaxed,
unwaxed, that's not
it'll
like that
probably grip.
stiff. If they have it like cottonized hemp, then yeah. All right. So the way I everybody's arm span is different, but I figured out the right amount by doing this, and it's kind of like a, I couldn't really tell you this part, but as long as it's like
3 feet.
yeah, I mean it might be. Let's see. Let's count it
Let
out.
me hold the string.
Yeah, hold the string. There's
I
one.
must have cut one already a while ago.
Oh, that's perfect. Hold the string. Experiments. 2, roughly. 3,
Let's rough
4.
it
Let's call it 4.
out.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 feet.
Throw pliers.
This was about right?
Yeah.
I already had this cut.
Let me see. Here, just drop it. Drop it. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I
Maybe
gotta
that
remember
was
to
from
bring
the
my
last time we
notebook.
did.
probably. Yeah. Call it 3.5. Right. So then, right, 3.5 feet of cord or string, and it's all different. Some people like to use rubber band. Voorhees doesn't use any at all.
He doesn't do
Right.
that.
So he but what this does is it ensures that you're not overdoing the tube, and that it holds, as we see here.
And what's the time again? How long
what?
do you let them
Night,
form?
right?
Rest. Oh,
Rest,
this
yeah.
Oh, no,
I
you said longer.
a week,
Yeah.
at least
Right,
a
a
week,
week,
at
yeah.
least a week, and I go slow, and
You batch make?
I'll do this, and then the ones that we do today, I'll do I'll let them hold for 2 weeks because I'm good with these. But if you're playing constantly, you always have this rack like.
Right.
And
I
then
have
you
like
have
a case of blanks.
Yeah, and then you have like different segments like, all right, this one's good in a week, this one's good in 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Right.
whatever. Or you make a fat batch at one time. But the longer you wait, the better, honestly.
Yeah, like for the summer I tied 40 reeds for this semester, and so that's like a couple months, Brandon. Like,
Yeah.
The more you let them sit, this is like a myth, but people have found it to be true. For bassoon and oboe, the more it sits like as a blank, like with the little scrape, They say it settles so much more.
Yeah,
And it
and
sounds
it really
great.
does. Yeah,
Especially
really does.
I heard with bassoon reeds. Like some people like leave them in there, just tie them and leave them in their closet. For
Because
I definitely need that.
it's traumatized. Like you're traumatizing the, they're stressing out the cane and making it take a shape that it's not.
like if you
it's
have a
not
day
natural.
to do a bunch of these, you do
Yeah.
a bunch and then like scrape on one that you're.
So then, right, I take out the reed that's been soaking, and I
So
leave
gotta
it
soak
soaking.
the twine. Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Measure 3
forgot
feet
about
of
that
twine
too.
and throw in water.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Throw in water just enough to soak it, and then you squeeze it out. Squeeze out the water.
And wring it out.
Bring it. Yeah, that's the
That's
word.
what they say, right?
Yeah. I've been talking so much Spanish that I'm like.
Losing
I feel like I
some
talk
English?
more. Yeah, I feel like I'm talking more in Spanish than in English these days. It's crazy.
I'm just horrible because I get excited about reeds and I want to finish every sentence.
You're good. You're good. Right. So we're gonna essentially tie a knot onto this. Mm-hmm.
That's
The
what
way-
I'm nervous about.
The way I do that. Now this is like a sewing trick. You do that.
Sewer's not.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
roll it
and then you roll it. You roll it once, and you have that. And once you have your little loop, place it around that little nub, and just pull through.
Oh, okay, cool. I do a sewer's knot before I tie on the C-clamp for
Mhm.
wrapping.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so then now we're gonna wrap this around. Pretty much from this section right here above the shoulder to this section of the bark of the tube, below the wire, you're gonna want it nice and taut. So applying some pressure. We're just gonna go. Oops.
Are we trying to trap the end of the sewer's
No,
knot?
not necessarily. No.
You leave it
I
out.
just keep it out. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you want it flush. And you're just gonna keep wrapping over. In this section, you do want it nice and tight. The first wrap around, because now we're gonna double back.
Okay.
Get as much as you can. Once you see that you probably can't get any more, another wrap around, you just go back. And then once you get to this section, for me, I don't really see how it's not as uniform as the first wrap.
Right.
You don't have to have it. You can if you want.
It's just for it to stay now, right?
Yeah, it's just so that it stays wrapped. Now this part is once we've passed over the, let's see.
You have to do an overlap.
Yeah. Once we've passed over, that's where you do tight again. Because it's first contact of the string or the cord with the reed. And then I go around maybe halfway above the wire. And then you go back. And then this part you don't have to put as much pressure as the first time around. So now that we've gotten to this right? Now that we've gotten to the wire, I do one of these. A loop, tuck it under, pull it out. I'm gonna do that again. Once it's up, right? You've wrapped up, I do a loop to the other side of the wire, of that little nub, and then whatever's left over, I tuck it up here, and then make sure that this loop stays there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it. This part is hard to do. I'm trying to demonstrate, but
For the camera.
yeah. But see, we're gonna sort of tug it until that little loop catches onto that nub. And as much as you can.
Oh, well, I'm glad we have a video of this.
That's why I was like, get out of camera.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna.
There
I'll
we
have
go.
to practice that one.
And
that
that's-
last part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might take a little video if you're gonna do another example.
Yes. We're gonna do. And see, that's
I'll send you that. No, I was saying I'll send you
Yeah.
that.
and that's how we get a little
Cool.
forming blank. So now this part is the scariest of them all.
Wrap down.
Oh, that's when you like ream it.
reed.
Yeah, but that's when you
Then wrap up. So wrap down the reed, then wrap up, then do a loop.
to tie the remain.
The wrap up. The final wrap up is when you get on the reed. Goes around half of the bottom of the reed. Okay, cool. I don't think I missed anything.
All right. So now I like to give it another little wetness in there.
I'll have to put that in my notes, but basically every time you took a little while, you just threw it in there.
Yeah, just to make sure you're not going in dry. So now we have the forming mandrel, right? Different from the
This one.
yes, that one. Yes,
How
yes.
do I tell? Oh, okay.
It's
This
longer.
one, right?
No, that's
Oh,
the
this-
reamer.
this
It would
one.
be that one. Yes, it's finer than the It's got a finer point than the holding mandrel, right? This is a forming mandrel. See how yours is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
This is the holding
That's
handle?
no. That's a reamer.
Yeah,
That's a diamond file.
The
Yeah,
one
a
here.
diamond.
This is a
Yeah.
forming
That's the
mandrel?
forming mandrel. And you don't really have. I think you have a holding.
Right?
These are all. Those are all the same.
I think the holding you can screw in on that reamer, right? Because it has a thing to take
Yeah.
out the top.
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
all the
you've
same.
got only forming, and these are forming pins, right?
Okay.
I've got this guy. It's like a
Yeah. See, and that's a holding mandrel with a reamer. You should
screw it
have
in.
a. I'm pretty sure you have one.
But this
like a
one
little
you
knob?
can take that off and put the
Yeah, you can. I'm sure you've got another pin in there, or else how? Because then you're not gonna be able to put the plaque in. Do you have a plaque?
Oh, where is my plaque?
Maybe you're
I'm
missing
missing
that
stuff.
part of yeah. All right, so we'll figure it out. But anyways, all right. So we have the opening, right? You're gonna grab your pliers. You're gonna go up to the end of it, and just sort of give it a nice little squeeze open. We're gonna insert the end of the forming mandrel, and I like to squeeze and not push as much against the reed, because this tube, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get like a mark of like, right, and you're trying to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, because you change the inner dimension.
Yeah, exactly. So I go in until I feel like I can't really do much more, right, and then at the end,
Oh!
yes,
It's supposed to make that sound noise.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have interesting sounds. So then you push down on it. That's why I like to have a flat.
Oh, mine might be a little slippery, huh?
Yeah. So if that's
I
the
can
case,
put,
just grab like a
rubber.
pad. Yeah, something
Silicone.
so that you're not like, and then you. Yeah, you get yourself in the eye.
I'll get one of those dab mats.
Yeah. So and then right, we've got it. You know, see how it changed to a tube.
Yeah.
And then now what I like to do is just sort of squeeze around, molding the tube shape onto the pin, just to get it a little bit more, I guess you could say uniform.
Wait, for Scott's lesson, did he have the twine part after only one wire or two? I can't remember.
Some people do different.
He might have done, I don't know if he did 3 wires and then wrap.
Some people do 3, some people do 1, some people don't do anything.
Does it,
Oh,
does it
when you're
matter?
forming, you put more than one wire?
It just
Some people-
depends. It depends on what you. I mean,
But
what-
that doesn't seem necessary.
I
yeah, it
remember
just
there's
depends
3
on what you.
wires, but I don't
Yeah.
remember.
No, but that's after.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
That's
after. We
after
have
it's
3.
4.
We have 3 wires on
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people do 4.
Really?
Yeah, that's excessive to me. I feel like you take away vibration if you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you put on a thing
I've
that
never heard
vibrates,
that before.
it's
Creates
everything
a
is just
rattle too,
dampened.
maybe?
Yeah,
Wow.
just dampens.
That's why they say even like the thread type is like.
Yeah,
you can change
it's
the-
important.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. All right. So I like to have it so that it's sort of
More
as
rounded.
flush as you can to the end. And this is one of the things that I've always had a hard time with is how far do I go in? Can I get any more? Right? And generally, for me, I've already kind of figured out where on my pin I'm going to stop. These ones have
Lines,
markers, and I'm pretty sure one of these indicates,
Where
how
to
far.
stop.
Yeah.
I could put
probably.
an O-ring or something maybe. where-
Yeah, or what I like to do is just get my razor blade and mark where it
like
is.
a little kin-
Yeah. All right. So now the part, what you don't want to do, is when you're taking. Right now, there's a lot of, it's on there, right? And to take it off, you don't want to. You're gonna want to like twist it, right? Your instinct is like twist it, but try not to twist it because this is like, this is a very I'm trying to get like, I was thinking of poetic. Yeah, it's.
It can twist out of shape.
Yeah, essentially, it can twist out of shape, or you can even crack it at this stage, and you can crack it now. Sometimes reeds will crack now, and you won't know until a week later.
Right. For us, if it's only slightly above the wrap, we score it, and as long as the crack doesn't continue, we play on it.
Yeah, I mean, you end up sort of filing down a crack. And sometimes I've had reeds that I'm playing, and then all of a sudden it's so free blowing and it's perfect and it sounds gorgeous, and there's a crack in the reed, and it's because there was so much tension, and it cracks off, and now it's so free to blow, and it's like it's good, but it's not good because it sounds great, but then it's hard to articulate on. And so it's one of those things like, oh, maybe I'll leave this reed for a nice slower movement or something. But
so don't freak out if we have a crack like you.
Don't. Yes and no. I mean, you'll figure. A lot of people are like professionals. My teachers, they've always been like, if there's a crack, usually it starts from right here, and it goes up. If there's a crack, I just don't even mess with it. I just
have you tried scoring it before? Sometimes
well, the thing is, I don't have money to be running around throwing away reeds,
right.
So I use everything to my everything. And so yes, you end up filing down a lot of it. Jeez, screw it. Maybe not. That scares me. Here, this looks like it's. Yes, perfect. Yeah. So think of that's like the arch of the cane, right? Of the tip. Sometimes a crack looks like this. Right? This is without a crack. This is with a crack. So this would be what you would see normally, but that's a crack, right? It's split from the grain. So what ends up happening, you're gonna end up filing a lot of excess reed, depending on your preferences of playing. What we're looking at right now is the back of the reed, which holds the vibrations for the low notes. So I scrape a lot there. That way you get a lot of these nice overtones on the low notes. But what I end up doing is I almost end up scraping that part right there. Yeah. Filing, scraping, that split, and yes, a little bit will remain sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it was so small that it comes off real clean. But yeah, generally you don't want those splits because it just the crack is just kind of like it impedes vibration. You know what I mean? It's a node that doesn't let vibrations pass through. Yeah, so you don't want that either, but and you're gonna be experimenting and going through these things and seeing what you like, what you don't like, seeing what it feels like to play on a cracked reed. Sometimes the reed will you'll put your plaque in and that crack will just it'll go through it on the first try, and that sucks too. But yeah, cracks at this stage, use them. Every reed that you have, try to make a reed out of it. A blank that you have, try to make something out of it. Because it's expensive too. I mean.
Yeah. So you try to get as close to this wire as you can. Like I'm like, place forming mandrel into the bottom of the reed.
Yeah, you're trying to get it so that this is round. So the butt of the tube is flush with the pin. Right? And I do that also by squeezing and pinching a little bit.
Slightly squeeze.
That way you're getting a nice round end.
Any notes that I need to write as far as putting the forming mandrel in that's like tips and tricks?
Have a good hold on your mandrel. Don't do it like this, because then you're gonna be like, right?
So we are gonna have to place it on the table.
Yeah. So oh yeah. And then try not to like be all up on your mandrel like this, because if you slip and you poke your eye, I've had scares, and I've even had this little
Cut
nub
you?
cut me.
Yeah. Okay.
So try to avoid, see how I'm holding it on the tip and on the tube. That's how I push down. So pretty much to the point where you can't go anymore. So now the way to take the cane off, or the blank, is I go under the butt and I sort of try to wiggle it off without pinching much. And right now there's
Like not touching the reeds.
Yeah.
Do you usually leave it on there
Check it out.
that
Just
long, or are you just doing it because you're doing it?
I'm doing it just to do it. Yeah, just to
But
show you
usually
guys.
You like
just take it
immediately-
off.
Usually I form it and I immediately take it off.
Okay.
For you, because yours are already on there, you would just take it off your
Oh,
your
unscrew
holder,
it.
and then his is cool. He's got a cool little system. So
Wow.
you're trying to wiggle when you get, when you're trying to take it off, you can do a little bit of just like that, enough to get it loose, and then it comes off. And then immediately put it on a pin.
Place pliers beneath butt.
And these pins for me, they have a little shoulder, a little ledge that don't allow me to go any farther, and that's how I know that I did it right.
Then place
That's how I know I've got it shaped.
rack for
That's-
a week.
But if
tube
it
is-
doesn't go to the pin, then you have to.
Then
round
there's
it out
something,
more.
yeah, then eventually I end up just squeezing it down. But if it really is not going down, I'll take it to the forming mandrel and then do it one more time. That means that I didn't go deep enough and down the tube.
So this notch is to tell us like we did it right, the forming. Like you have
Yeah, for me, yeah, for this one, that's why I indicate if I've done it right or not, is if it goes down all the way to the.
I don't have
to that little line.
Is that all the same cane?
We're all gonna well, he has his, but you're gonna put yours on here, and which are these
string
ones?
or something
Well, yeah, I'm actually gonna
with a marker.
I'm gonna put them at the other
Is
end.
that all the same cane? You always put the same, or
Right, I bought 3 different kinds.
that's
I
what I was
brought
trying.
Gonzalez.
Different. That's all
I brought Gonzalez. This is Rigatti, and then I have Glotan like yours, but it's at home. Gonzalez is from, I think he's an Argentinian supplier. Rigatti is Italian, but it's French
Right,
cane.
I've seen those.
And then Glotan is also French cane.
That's what Voorhees always
Usually
buys.
it's all French cane.
Yeah.
So
always
it's all
buys
French
that.
cane, like, and then the secret tea is that, like, for example, Vic and Rigatti.
Mhm.
They say Vic is Rigatti cane, but they just picked the hardest pieces of Rigatti and called it Vic. So
Yeah,
generally, it's all the same cane, but they pick it based on qualities and then call it a different brand.
yeah.
It's all from the same fields.
And it's all from the Var region of France. It's all the same, the same area. You have different hills and this and that. That it affects, the sun hits on a certain angle, and it'll affect the cane in a different way. Elevation, slighter elevation, nitrates in the soil. All of these things are go into harvesting and.
Should we have a
and all
separate talk about cane? Because I definitely have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm like not the hugest cane nerd I used to be. Now I'm just like, I just get from the same supplier and then hope that it's as even as possible, or as good as it can get. But I used to try out every time I would buy a different supplier and see what it was like. And even then, you can get Rigatti now and then Rigatti in a month. And if it's not the same batch, you're gonna get a different,
Right.
And then even in your same batch, you're gonna get different reeds. This might not be all from the same tube. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, there's so many factors to it that I've just been like, whatever.
So
I'm
for
just gonna
us,
go
like
for-
different hardness.
Mhm.
I don't have a hardness tester, but different hardness goes with different seasons based on
Yeah.
humidity.
Yeah.
So like for us, we like a harder cane in like the summer.
See, and that
In winter,
The
we like a
same.
softer cane.
the same here. Like I've had to change my scraping because of the humidity here.
Right.
I've had to
Like
change
this
it.
cold front
But
probably
it's
fucked
like-
up some stuff.
Yeah, and then the cold fronts affect it.
You scrape more.
Now it's now my reeds are getting kind of like, they've gotten like tubby, like it's harder to
Stuffy.
yeah.
I have to
stuffy,
scrape them thinner, and then once the humidity is back, they're
Yeah.
like dead reeds. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, once you scraped, like you can't add to it, so you're screwed.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's it. That's pretty much it for how to form a blank, and then this will wait for at least a week. Some people have been like, oh, just wait a day, and then that's for me that's way too soon, because you've put so much trauma onto the cane, it needs to breathe. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Scott
like you
said he waits a week too, right, Brandon?
like you,
think so.
at least a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty normal.
I've waited months too, and then I've
Like this?
just to see. No, this is a week. This is a week right here. Yeah, but like in this stage.
You left it for months.
Yeah,
And
I've
did you
left it
notice
for months, and
difference?
the next day, once this is all dried out, I like to just sort of give it a squeeze, and because it's gonna be loose, obviously, because right now it's the string is waterlogged, and once it dries off, everything's gonna be a little bit looser. Just give it a nice little tug and pull again.
Doesn't it tighten when it dries? Because like when it's
Well, everything
wet,
sure everything shrinks, but it shrinks accordingly. Like it shrinks, doesn't shrink together. See how this is looser? See, right now I wouldn't be able to pull as hard see, and I don't like that. But I've always been scared to to unwrap and then have it lose its shape again, and that just always scares me. So I just leave them. I leave them like this. That's why people use rubber bands, because they
I've
don't.
seen that.
Yeah, because they don't. The rubber band will always hold its place for a certain until the rubber band dries off. Have you seen like a dried, cracked rubber band, like super old?
Mm-hmm.
It like it pretty much turns to dust. Like it'll just crack. But rubber bands are good. I've never used them. I've always wanted to, but
I haven't either,
you know.
but people do it before they tie and stuff.
Yeah.
They say it keeps the tube really
Mhm.
nice.
Instead of the string?
Instead of the string, yeah, get like long, medium thick rubber bands, and that's the thing, finding the right rubber band.
True. Should I ask Scott what
pretty much-
about the idea?